time. You know, looking for the possibility of cell regeneration.
Don't your cells like regenerate every 7 years or something like, or not cells, but your, I have to do with the, or I gotta get, yeah, yeah.
I
I think
believe your cells do regenerate. I'm not sure if it's 7 years, but I
or
knew they have over a certain period.
let me see. Does the human this humans
If you're
organ?
giving, if you're eating organic honeydew cantaloupe, or even if it's not organic, if you're eating honeydew cantaloupe watermelon, and then you're eating your blueberries, your blackberries, your grapes, your kiwis,
That's
your
not
oranges and stuff
natural.
like that, and then you're juicing down like roots like ginger and turmeric and beet juice, and you're drinking that, right? And you're drinking apple juices juiced down from apples, right? Then doing that for 90 days straight, in the process of your cells regenerating, or even if you had the discipline to do it for years at a time, because a fructose diet is not necessarily 100% those fruits and roots, right? But you can do like 90% fruit and 10% meat, or just fish, or whatever other things you want to eat with that 10%. But it's you really eating the fruit 90% of the time, because the natural sugar is not bad for you. And then the thing about melons and the H3Os is that there's still minerals in that type of water that's in honeydew and cantaloupe and watermelon, right? Eating your papaya seeds, eating your pineapples, you know what I'm saying? And then juicing down sometimes even your parsley and your apples and your celery, and juicing your cucumbers is another great source of H3Os as well. So us unifying financially, we can start to get our people's diets changed around, so we can start bringing forth children and starting them off with healthy lives where they didn't go through a period of time of eating any processed food or anything that wasn't conducive for their self-preservation and extension of their life.
Hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate y'all hitting that like button. Come on in. We just
It's so much stuff
spontaneous
that we
live.
can, fix. And a lot of people are afraid of black people doing something like that, because then you can
Word of
self
the day.
repair.
What's the word of the
Yes,
day,
black
y'all?
people are owed reparations. It's not a fact, a matter of if black people deserve reparations. Black people are owed reparations, but there is a place and possibility
Inanity.
for us to self-repair, but it would require a unification of at least 2 million
Inanity.
to 3 million black
Inane.
people,
Something that is inane is
with at
silly.
least $500 a
I've been
month
hearing a lot of inane
towards
comments lately. The
self-preservation.
inanity of
Did
the
you have to unmute your mic?
no, no,
I
no,
couldn't
no.
unmute your mic.
No, you good, bro. No, no, you good, bro. I'm listening to you. I'm multitasking right now. I'm actually on my live and I'm listening to you too at the same time. No, you good. You good, bro. You good.
But,
All right.
but I was saying that the 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 at least 2 million of us coming together with at least $500 a month would be a start to build up to that first year
Peace, peace,
of
peace.
doing
Peace,
that,
peace,
and then
peace.
investing that money into those businesses that we would need, like having grocery stores and
Relevations.
having
I'm
places to go
assuming.
buy
I'm
clothes and
assuming
stuff,
you,
the stuff that coffee
you may be
shops
a
couldn't
brother,
do.
a brother from another
So
mother.
just different things that we can put in our neighborhoods to generate income and invest in, and then go out and learn other things where we have nail shops now, we have auto shops, you feel me? If we don't, when we go learn how to establish those things and do those things, then that's us keeping the dollar in our community longer, right? So if we are only doing business with our own coffee shops, our own fashion boutiques, our own grocery stores, right? If we're only doing business with those things, then that's keep.
You breaking up? I think you breaking up, bro.
Hello, can
Yeah,
you hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay, that's when we go out
The
into those
black, the
industries,
20
when we take that money and invest in going to
turned
construction schools
$27
and
into.
going to cosmetology spots and going to investing in getting a team of brothers and sisters together to get their wholesale license and go set up vending machines and just go out there and attack all the different industries and do everything we can to keep the dollar in our community and invest in us being able to self-preserve ourselves and have our own.
Story time. How y'all feel about story time? Story time. A segment on story time. How y'all feel about that?
Particular systems of Lyft and Uber, going into having our own particular football teams, basketball teams, or just different sports. I mean, we don't even have to necessarily get into physical sports, but to brothers and sisters that still want
Black
financially,
power.
that's us actually a part of unifying financially is us learning. If we can go learn how to do certain martial arts and bring that to the community, then we only do business with the black people who have gone out and learned the jujitsu and the karate and the different things for us to keep that dollar with us and not be giving that to a UFC dojo or wrestling gym. So it's about us going out and being masters of the world and putting off all recreation at this time and understanding that this is a state of emergency and we have to go out and become masters of the universe. And we have to do it with no recreation involved. So it has to be a constant grind of math, science, and English. Um, obviously going into having good composure, getting into the psychology of adults and kids, teaching how we can teach a peaceful society, if you will, with some morality that could be universally accepted between black people, even if they might have different ideologies sometimes. The unification financially really contributes to all of those things. If and I have to agree, it has to be managed in the correct way with the utmost integrity. But I always like to explain to black people the absolute instant benefit of doing it. Right? It's us. It's starting the process of self repair and not relying on the people who destroyed us to repair us. So it's starting the process of self repair, because we can't expect the world to deal according to the definition of fair and just and do the right thing and repair black people. So uh, we do have to go into a state of self preservation and self repair. And, we have to have a self preserving mindset and unifying financially so that we can establish grocery stores. And I think the sky's the limit as long as we can just go after the stuff we can get right now and learn the other things and add them to keeping the dollars with us. Because we can start to buy tractors, we can start to buy bobcats and really get into construction and go to architecture, go to learn to be architects and get into the fields and studies of construction and those things and math and really hyper focus on that type of stuff. And that financial unification gives us the ability to build things and learn about construction because now we have the money to go and invest and go into Lowe's and Home Depot or whatever it is once we learn how to do it. And we can start building our own custom homes on the land that we bought and purchased. So, it's time for us to get into building homes and going hunting and going swimming and, having a form of extreme training where we're fit. We know how to swim. We can swim for a long time. We meditate. We do things as far as health wise. Do we eat the right way? We just start doing things that are conducive for us that we can agree on. And I think it's a lot of stuff we can do. With unifying financially. Oh, certainly. Because see, the thing is, DT, I did the numbers, man. Do you know if 2 million of us, if it's 40 million black people, if just 2 million black people came together with $1,000 a month, right? And they saved it and put it towards the self-preservation of Black people. In I believe it's 48 million. I believe it's 40
Knowledge is power.
$48
Let's get it.
billion a year that we would be able to contribute to establishing businesses and opportunities for Black people in different areas throughout the Americas. And it's certainly a start from America not wanting to pay a damn dime of reparations. So I think if we took that 1 year to put $1,000 in the pot to 2 million of us, that's $48 billion that we can start investing in sending certain people to learn certain things and establishing certain businesses and opportunities in our community and allow the dollar to stay with us and being thorough and astute and mannerable in doing such. Contributed that self-preservation is going towards whatever's conducive for us. So even if it's it's stressing the importance of being mannerable and being civil in public, where we're not doing anything that moving as conducive as possible. In the process of self-preservation and self-repairing or self-repair, which is to self-reparate. So we have to take that action immediately. We don't, man, YouTube, I'll tell you, we don't have no type of time to waste on that because all that other stuff we talking, if we did that, then we would be able to go to Moorish provinces and Israelite provinces, and we would have a whole community of Black people living together that practice science, that
I'm still learning.
the community about science. So the unification financial gives us
I'm
the
still learning.
being Black Americans, man. We should be able to go to
Story time.
right. We should be able to go to the atheist community and see the economic. We should we we should be able to see the self-preservation in that area as well as respect Black people. The fashion shops, the coffee shops, the grocery stores, the doctors, the vets, all of that stuff, the laundromats, the liquor stores, everything. We wanna have those types of things in the Moorish community, in the Black community, in the Black Christian community. We should see those things, right? With that unification and financially as well.
Yeah, man, it's but they better laid out a whole a system, of what we need to do to get our shit together. For real, man. Like,
And then that next year, we need to have 2 million more Black people step up and contribute with $1,000, so that we can have two times 48 billion and start that next year off and have the discipline to do it and spend the money towards that, so we can get to the point where we're not working no job and it's just groups of people working for us. And now we can afford to send our children into STEM and catch up a little bit concerning AI and having robot technology and even building our own robots and understanding that the sky is the limit. With just agreeing on about three things, man. Being peaceable with each other, staying out of the way and out of trouble in society, really, bro, and just doing whatever is self-preserving. Practicing the martial arts, staying in shape, eating the right way. You know what I'm saying? Investing in the self-preservation of one's people, so that we don't have families and mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters out here wanting and needing anything from anybody. So we can start to have stress-free lives and enjoy our families. It'll free up everybody's time to really pursue what they want to do. And it's something, and it's not hard, to do. It's like, you get 2 million people to do it the first year, and then if you can get four the next year, and then if you can get six or seven that next year, you get 7 million Black people contributing $1,000 a month towards the self-preservation of Black people, we will have affected almost we will have
Hit that
affected
like button,
almost
please. Hit that like button, y'all. Y'all being stingy with the likes, y'all. It's free.
even being able to gentrify and relocate to certain areas and take them over. Just from just having the money to move in masses and populate areas with resources like that.
Yeah, like you said, these other groups, they definitely setting up shop though. They definitely coming over here, like you said, and all working cohesively, together as a unit. Um, yeah, I would agree with you. Black Americans we definitely need to, we definitely, and we are though. But I just feel like it's not illuminated on as much. All the other, you know, uh, degenerate aspects of the culture gets pushed to the forefront. But I still see that there's validity in what you're saying, though. Like Black Americans, yeah, we gotta step our game up. Like we really, we gotta step it up as far as like you said, like with networking with one another. Not saying we don't need to mess with no other Black groups. I'm saying, but we have to like we definitely we gotta hone in. We gotta zone in, hone in on the cohesive. We have to hone in on working together cohesively. You feel me? Like like for real,
On
bro.
at least three things, deity, that's fundamentally self-preserving, we have to agree with, like ASAP.
Mm.
You know, and it's the financial unification, the unanimous peace throughout the people and ethnic group, and then the practice and homogeny part two, keeping the money in the family even genetically, is conducive for us, and obviously making special exemptions for certain people that may have spouses that are outside of us as a
Hit
people.
that like button, y'all. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Yeah. Real. You said you ain't you
Situations.
ain't you married?
Yes, I am married.
Okay, and you married to is it a Black American woman or is
So I'm married to a so-called African American woman. They would
okay
call her like foundational Black American.
okay
So I'm pro homogeny.
Black American woman.
Like if you're a Negro man, you have to take a Negro wife. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And vice versa. If you're a Negro woman, you have to take a Negro husband. From the seed line up, you're a father in particular, because we do believe that the man controls the lineage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. No, I actually I was actually okay. I was just trying to I was just trying to get a better feel for I'm like I'm like this brother ain't married to you know I mean, and I'm saying you're not married to I'm assuming you wasn't married to African, because of East African, because of the way we're cognizant of the cultural repellent that they have to us. You feel me? Like they got a that's the cultural repellent.
And Somalian women that wanted to be my wife, though.
Mm,
But they knew it was going to be smoke that came with that,
mm.
from their people.
Yeah,
Man, I ain't gonna lie
yeah.
to this camp. I knew I was gonna have smoke from American Black women. I knew they was gonna have smoke for a nigga too. Cause even with the with the East African women in particular, there's a genetic difference between like East African Black women and some West African Americans. Like you could tell they're like a different race of Black people, if I can simplify the understanding.
Mm, mm.
We share genetic. We have more genetic ties with West and Central Africans than Somalis and Ethiopians. Um, there are Ethiopians that we do have genetic ties to, like the Oromo, for example. A lot of them have the EB31 Y chromosome genetic haplogroup, and it still comes from the E family, like E1B1A. They still all come from E1B1.
Mm. You talking
So
about
there
DNA
are
right now?
Oromo Ethiopians that we do have some genetic ties too, but we are still different races of black people, which I know some people think that race shouldn't be associated with the Y chromosome, but I actually think they have that understanding incorrect. You know, I think and that's kind of the hypocrisy of saying you believe in science too. If a man, if 63% of African Americans have E1B1A Y chromosome genetic haplogroup, and a white man shows up with a DNA test proving that he has E1B1A, then genetically that is your family.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Interesting.
You can't say, oh well, race and that's not the same. No, he's proven that that y'all have a common y'all are ancestors to the same particular Y chromosome haplogroup. You know, you have the R1 types. You know, you have these different from the haplogroup A that migrated and had this mutation where it turned off in the E and D, and we get all these different Y chromosome haplogroups. Um, um, the, these different Y chromosome haplogroups, right? You have nations of people that came about from them. So Ethiopians, even the ones that come from the EB3 one, is still different than E1B1A. Like those are still two different, I guess, races, if you'll say it, or bloodlines, if you will. Like that those are they're slightly different, even though they got some similarities. Because you can see phenotypically that Oromo Ethiopians do share a Y chromosome with us, because their phenotype is more similar to ours than I would say the Habeshaw Ethiopians, who come from a J, who come from a lot. Some of them, the ones in America specifically, come from like a J haplogroup type.
That DNA. That DNA
So if a white
structure.
man shows up to your
Yeah, about to get
family
up off this
reunion and you took a DNA test and you and him have the same Y chromosome, that's your family. Y'all come from the same lineage of man. Right. You're literally you guys are literally direct descendants of a man's of a man. I mean, as are we all, even women. So if we saying, do you believe in DNA, and somebody takes a 23andMe, that because here's the thing, deity, a Caucasian person could have E1B1A, or what appears to be, well, yeah, I'll say Caucasian because that's what we would call it today, right? A Caucasian person, I'm talking somebody that looks like, I'm talking about KKK looking white, right? There's a small minority of white people that have E1B1A, right? 63% of African Americans have E1B1A, right? So if one white person from that small percentage showed up scientifically proving that they come from the same haplogroup as 63% of African Americans, how can you tell that person they can't come into family with you? If you believe in science and DNA, and you always put people on the hot seat about that shit. See, they talking, Buddha and them was talking all that shit about me being a debater. You know, I actually cooked the shit out you motherfuckers.
It's my mother right here, y'all. It's my mama, my OG. Yes, it is my mother who passed away. Thank you.
Discussion me and Swap.
And this is my daughter right here who passed away too. You know, my daughter and my mama, OG, and my daughter.
Damn, this shit can't be fair. If a motherfucker can say that the Bible teaches white supremacy when the supreme people are called nigga, and people see that as some type of win, saying that it still teaches white supremacy, that's a hell of a cognitive dissonance that I've ever seen. For real. Like I literally couldn't believe they was agreeing with a book that teaches that describes men and women of the supreme people of the book as nigga and black. And I'm like, wow, that they really gonna do that type of shit.
Yeah, that's interesting though, man. That's interesting though, for real.
It's Issachar, where it says, "I am black, look comely," and then it says, "Look not upon me" in the next verse, "for I am because the sun have looked upon me," talking about the black in that first scripture I talked about. It when you go into the Strongs, it says Swati, because niggas been saying Swati doesn't mean black, and now I can't use etymology.com to prove my point, which is very suspicious and interesting. and interesting. These motherfuckers tap dancing like a motherfucker because they just hate the Bible, right? But yeah, DT, they can't debunk that. It's in the Bible. It's two Israelites, Jesus' blood family, called nigger. And that's how it's pronounced.
Is it called nigger?
And they said swab one day. This shit gotta be rigged. This shit is obviously rigged.
Yeah,
One thing I can say about the Israelites, they're not afraid or shy to tell white people about their history. And I done seen brothers risk their life and their freedom, as well as me myself, to teach that the Bible actually does talk about them going into slavery according to the Bible. So really, white people have to hope that the Bible's not true, or they finished. Yeah, they gotta hope that the scriptures are not real. So I think that's the chat GBT that Psycho got set up, the little super coon that keeps saying, "I got a picture of Jesus, he not black." Well, the Bible is calling Jesus' family nigga and black. So you might have to do some AI maintenance on that, some software engineering, Psycho, on that chat GBT super whoever that is. We might have to do some maintenance on that one because yeah, Jesus' family, according to the Bible, is called nigga and black. Women and men.
interesting. That's
And one of those
interesting.
people that's called nigga in the Bible in particular is from the same tribe as Moses and Aaron, the Levites, the Levitical priests. So Barnabas is a Levite that's in the Bible that's called nigga. He comes from the same tribe as Moses. So Moses would have had to have been black. They come from the same exact tribe. And I don't know what black people's discrepancy is with the Bible, because niggas ain't never did what the Bible said as a race. It's a very unjustified disdain and hatred that they have. I think the problem is black people have a problem with Christianity and Catholicism and the Roman Catholic Church doctrine of what they was talking.
Y'all don't read? Hit the like button. Y'all don't like books? Let me find out, y'all in my chat, y'all don't read books. Hit the like button, please.
Go into captivity. You know, it says, "Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise and rule the world no more." It talks about them having to pay for the sins of their fathers even. So white people don't believe in the Bible or have respect for the Jesus of the Bible because they lied about him being they didn't tell the truth about him being a Negro. You know, people, you know what's funny? People call the chosen people of God in the Bible, they call them Ethiopian, Jewish, and Middle Eastern, right? But the Bible calls Jesus' family nigga. But everybody says we're not the Israelites, and we're called nigga. And we've been in slaveries. And Deuteronomy says the Israelites will go into slavery. And it says they would have yokes of iron on their neck. And it's pictures, deity, of yokes of iron on niggas' necks, called nigga, like the Jews in the Bible. So that's why I believe we're the Israelites, bro, because Jesus is called nigga, and black people are treated like Jesus and his people, on top of being called nigga. So that shit really added the fuck up for me.
It was simple, huh?
You know, I'm like, and the scriptures say that the people who led us into slavery are punished to go into slavery. So they need to put the scriptures down and just live their life.
Yeah, brother. Oh, y'all done took the light back, huh?
But
Haters, huh?
I talked to Psycho about teaching like because I do study and practice science because I homeschool my kids. I talk to Psycho about me doing certain lessons on chemistry and the periodic table of elements sometimes on the platform, but I'm not really interested in debating though because of the bias. You know, if a nigga can win a debate saying that the Bible teaches white supremacy with the supreme people being called nigga, then I don't want to participate in no debate league that would allow somebody to win such a oxymoronic argument.
It seems funny, but read. You gotta do the knowledge. Do the knowledge. Oxymoronic, huh?
Bro,
Do the
I don't
knowledge.
know how a nigga won the debate saying that how can the Bible teach white supremacy if if the people above everybody in the Bible are called black and nigga? Calls the other nations nothing. Calls the Israelites the chosen people above all people upon the face of the earth. So now if Suave or Fontaine was saying that the Spanish Inquisition taught white supremacy, then I wouldn't be able to argue that. That's 100% correct and true. If they're saying that Christianity taught white supremacy, that's 100% true. You know, I'm not arguing that. But when I read the Bible for myself, the Bible doesn't teach what Christianity, the Roman Catholic Church, or Catholicism actually teach. You know, that's when I found out that the Bible actually doesn't teach that a man that has more than one wife is adultery or sin. So when people would frown at men who had more than one woman, I started to look at that crazy because they were saying they believed in the Bible at the same time. So most of my life, I didn't know that though, deity, that the scriptures say that it's a law that's in the Bible about what you do when you take another wife. But in churches today, in Catholicism, a man, you can't walk into a church with wives, and you can't legally be married to more than one woman in America. But it's supposed to be a Christian nation based on the Bible. But the Bible says you can have more than one wife. You know, I didn't know that the Bible teaches that you're supposed to put your race of people first. Until I actually read it and researched it for myself. So, black people's discrepancy, black people's disdain for the Bible, like the black people, the niggas that say, "Oh, that book and F the Bible and all that shit." Or every time a nigga say he an Israelite, niggas say that dumbass, "I'm not religious shit." When I'm not saying it's my religion, I'm saying it's my heritage, my culture, and my ancestry. The learned response would be, I don't believe that's your ancestry. That means you actually paid attention to what the fuck I said. But every time you say you're an Israelite, people say I'm not religious. But you know what's interesting about religion, right? Where does religion come from, deity?
Man.
It comes from man, right?
Yeah.
And different groups of men that went throughout the earth, right? They developed different cultures, right? And different observations of the natural world and formed these religions. So religion is actually tied to anthropology in some ways. And it's tied to human nature, if you will, because a lot of times religion is that particular culture's evaluation of the natural world and the explanation for how things came to be. And what's the morality and order of what that particular culture believes to be morally right and wrong. So, as much as I did want to really participate in the debate league, man, if a nigga can win a debate saying that the Bible teaches white supremacy with the supreme people being called black, then this shit is clearly motherfucking rigged. Like this shit cannot. How in the fuck can that be? Right, right. So, like I get you don't like the Bible and you don't believe in it, but nigga, this shit right here is calling Jesus and his family nigga and black. So I don't know how y'all gonna teach that or run with that. But you know what, man, DT, I'm about to get off and
Me, yeah.
get ready to handle this business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate it. Me too, bro. I'm about to pop off this joint too and get on my live and yeah and edify the people, man. Educate the people,
I'm working. I see you. You always got the source and the literature and the
I
information. And
strive to.
I'm working on building like my fundamental English and math and science workbooks
Mm-hmm.
as far as teaching those subjects and practicing the basics of it. I'm building that up first. Um, and then I'm gonna start getting into some forms of archaeology and history and stuff like that, and even
Mm-hmm.
some of these things that may not be accepted by mainstream history, but are things that are reads that I read from people who wrote about accounts that took place in like the 14 or 15 or 1600s or something like that, or even certain ancient accounts that took place in the BC times. So I'm really looking to accumulate my information, and if possible, I want to visit this library in Spain that was established in 1712 to see, because the Black Portuguese are the first Black people, I believe, to be called nigga or the N word because of the Latin origin of Niger, that like in the book of Acts that I talk about with the two Jews, Barnabas and Simeon. So the Isabella, the Queen of Spain, when she expelled the Black Jews, she put the label of Spain put that label of nigga on those Black people, or what were known as the Black Portuguese. Some political white families at the time that had seized certain parts of Europe in the 1800s wrote about a Negro Jew that was called a greasy adventurer and a swarthy son of Judah, given the particular tribe of Israel that this Black Jew was from, right? And getting into reads where it talks about a gentleman that's a PhD named Stephen Jacobs. He's a small hat PhD scholar. Him and Rudolph Windsor did a book talking about that they had came to an indefinite conclusion that there were descendants of ancient Israelites among Black Americans, because the book was specifically about the origin of Black Americans and some of the claims concerning Black Jews in West Africa and Black Africans professing to be Israelites, as well as some records of Black slaves with names that end in Yah. So due to contrary belief, it's a lot of eye-opening things and things like slavevoyage.com that definitely um, align with the prophecies as well as the description of the Jews. A lot of the actual accounts of the Israelites that dealt with integrity, like Herodotus, who is a all time who is an all time known historical who's an all time known historian. One of the I would say Herodotus is probably in like the top 10 when he talked about his encounter of what he saw of the Egyptians. He did describe them as Ethiopians, and contextually at that time, that would have been in the context of like a Cushite or an Oromo Ethiopian, which it has a similar phenotype. Like there's some similarities to their phenotype in Black Americans and some West Africans, but it still has a distinct look that's to East Africa, if you will. Like you can still tell there's a difference between them and us.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I was gonna say too before I get up. I appreciate you recognizing that though, for real. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, brother. Just
Yeah, man. That's crazy how people be talking like that, man. Buddha's crazy talking like that. I understand what some FBA brothers and sisters are saying about the disrespect that people have for foundational Black Americans. They have a very legitimate claim to recognizing that and acting on it.
Yeah. That was mind-boggling. Very, very mind-boggling. No, but I appreciate you. I'm going on. Are you a regular black guy? What the hell is a regular black guy? What does that mean? Appreciate you, psycho. I'm going on, y'all. What's a regular black guy? Cause the black guys I know, they do this. They read. We talking about? Huh? Huh? You think black men don't read? What you mean? Hmm? What the hell is a regular black guy? Do you read books, buddy? Huh? About the truth though. About the truth. Hmm? Or do you just get or do you get all your news from the TV? Self-care for black men. You gotta have this when you're reading, complex literature. I'm still learning. Appreciate y'all. Peace. But yeah, I'm gonna do a story time. We gonna. I'm working on that. But yeah, story time. But I don't wanna. I don't wanna reenact like just. I don't wanna. I don't want to say bore because reading's not boring, but I don't want to prolong the masses with simply just reading. So I have to figure out how I can do it piece by piece. Take an excerpt out. An excerpt, I mean like a chapter, like read like a chapter or something. So, yeah, and console on it, talk about it. Yeah, Black Power. I'm out. Do you know your father? Yes, I do know my father. Contrary to popular belief, what you think, black folks? You think black Americans don't? You think black Americans don't know their father? Shame on you, buddy.